Beneath the ordinary world lies a veil, and behind it, the voices of the lost still whisper.
We are your guides into the shadows, where true crime meets the paranormal.
From chilling crimes to haunted histories, we uncover the stories that refuse to rest.
This is Veil of Echoes. You're driving through the Australian outback at night. No streetlights, no houses, no other cars. Just miles of empty road, stretching into darkness. And then you see it. A light, floating in the distance. Too bright to be a star. Too low to be anything in the sky. At first, you think it's another car. But it's not moving like one. It doesn't stay in its lane. It doesn't follow the road. It stops. Then shifts. Slowly, drifting to the side, before moving again. And suddenly, it's closer.
Close enough that you can't ignore it anymore.
So you speed up, just a little. And it follows. You go faster. It keeps pace.
Matching you perfectly.
There's nothing else out here. No roads it could turn onto. No headlights behind you. No explanation. And when you finally get the nerve to look back, it's gone.
People have tried to follow them.
Chase them.
Explain them.
And they can't. This is episode 61.
The Min Lights.
Welcome to Veil of Echoes, a cinematic immersive experience where true crime and the unexplained collide. Because not everything can be explained, and not everything stays buried. Some stories don't end. They linger, they follow, and they echo.
We're your hosts. I'm Zach.
And I'm Bria. Before we begin, this episode contains themes of unexplained phenomena and reported encounters. Listener discretion is advised.
If you enjoy immersive true crime and paranormal storytelling, make sure you're following Veil of Echoes on your favorite podcast platform.
And leaving a rating or written review really helps our stories reach more listeners, and we truly appreciate your support. And starting next month in May, we're launching monthly giveaways.
All you have to do to enter is leave a rating or written review. Take a screenshot and send it to us.
And you can send it to either our TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, just message us directly, or to our email is at veilofechoespodcast@gmail.com. We'll be choosing listeners each month and giving away some really fun things we've been putting together for you guys.
We're also going to start adding more interactive content, like trivia games, listener theories, and deeper dives into cases and phenomena.
And we want you guys to feel like you're part of this with us. And as we also head into next month in May, we're also launching something new.
A space for your stories.
And we're going to call it Echoes from the Veil. So if you've experienced something unexplainable or something that stayed with you,
we want to hear it.
You can send your stories to us through our socials or email us directly at veilofechoespodcast@gmail.com.
We'll be sharing listener stories and featuring some of them in upcoming episodes.
Because some stories don't belong to just one person. We want you to feel like you're part of this with us. And we have another thing that we're really excited about, is officially naming you, our listeners.
And right now, we've been loving the name Veil Walkers.
But we want to hear from you guys too.
So next month, we'll be putting up a poll on TikTok and Instagram with a few options and letting you decide.
Because at the end of the day, every story we tell
is something we experience together.
Yeah, May is just a big month for us, I feel like. And tonight's story is one that's been seen for over a century. Long before the Min Min lights were ever studied or written about, they were already being seen. Stories of strange lights in the Australian outback exist in multiple Aboriginal Australian cultures, dating back to a time before European colonization. Passed down through generations, these lights weren't just sightings, they were part of the land and part of the story.
And while those stories have existed for centuries, documented accounts didn't appear until much later. Some sources point to a possible sighting in the 1800s, but it's unclear whether the report was actually describing the same phenomenon, which means, for a long time, these lights existed more in experience than in record.
Today, the Min Min lights are most commonly reported in remote regions of Australia, from western New South Wales to northern Queensland and deep into the outback. But the majority of these sightings happen in an area known as Channel Country. Flat land, endless horizon, very little to interrupt your view.
Other sightings have also been reported in parts of South Australia and Western Australia, which suggests this isn't limited to just one location. It's something spread across the landscape.
Descriptions of the lights vary, but certain details stay consistent. They're often seen as glowing orbs, hovering just above the horizon. Usually white, but sometimes they shift. Red, green, then back again.
Some witnesses describe them as dim. Others say they're bright enough to cast shadows on the ground, bright enough to feel close.
But what makes the Min Min lights so unsettling isn't just how they look, but it's how they move.
People report the lights approaching them, then retreating, following at a distance, before suddenly disappearing.
And others say the lights keep pace with them, even while driving, matching their speed, staying just far enough away that they can't be reached.
And according to folklore, anyone who successfully follows the lights never comes back.
A light that appears out of nowhere, moves like it's aware of you, and disappears the moment you try to understand it. I'm gonna say it's aliens.
Yeah, because if something behaves like that, not random, and not predictable, what do you think it actually is?
Aliens?
I mean, that's what it seems like. It's been noticed for generations and since the earliest sightings being in the 1800s.
Yeah.
It doesn't say early 1800s or late 1800s, but 1800s, so I'm going to assume earlier.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard to say it's not because, I mean, just
That's
the
something,
patterns.
obviously.
The way they shift from red, blue, green, white, back to or red, blue, green, back to white.
Yeah.
It's obviously not just a normal star or a satellite, and back then there was no satellites, so the earliest encounters, they couldn't just say it was balloons.
Right.
They couldn't even really say it was headlights. I mean, there wasn't really headlights back then that were just traveling all through Australia.
Yeah, and I wonder why it's just in that spot. It says they were first widely reported in 1918 by a stockman near the Boulia region of outback Queensland.
So that's not the 1800s, that's the early 1900s. Okay.
Well, first widely reported.
Okay, gotcha.
Shortly after the town's Min Min Hotel burned down. However, stories of similar phenomena exist in Indigenous Australian culture predating European colonization, with some records suggesting sightings as early as 1838 or 1902.
So my question is, are they named the Min Min lights, or they started being noticed after the hotel was burnt down, or?
It just says the lights take their name from the abandoned Min Min Hotel.
Maybe people thought they were seeing those lights when they were pulling up on it or something.
I wonder what the hotel...
Yeah, that's what I'm confused about. Is what does it have to do with the lights?
The Min Min Hotel is a notorious, now abandoned 19th century Queensland, Australia watering hole famous for inspiring the legendary Min Min lights. Its graveyard reportedly sparking ghostly tales of floating, chasing orbs. It was burned down, right? Yeah, destroyed by a fire, commonly reported around 1918 or February 14th, 1924, Valentine's Day. Huh.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it seems a little extraterrestrial.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
like hotel lights don't just follow you and change colors on their own.
Huh. According to this Time Gents article, it says the Min Min lights is circular and has fuzzy moving edges and is and is usually white but can be green, yellow, red, or rarely blue. The fuzzy orbs can dance around erratically left to right, up and down, and back and forth. While there are scientific explanations for the eerie lights, others believe it is the ghosts of the bodies buried in a graveyard behind the Min Min Hotel. Huh. And the Min Min Hotel, when was that? When was that built? It was built in the early 1880s.
Definitely seems like it could have been aliens.
But that's interesting about the ghosts of the...
They think the lights are the spirits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like trapped or something. As sightings of the Min Min lights became more widely reported, people began trying to explain them. Not as stories, not as folklore, but as something real, something measurable, and something understood.
Scientists, researchers, and skeptics alike have all proposed theories over the years, trying to answer the same question. What are people actually seeing? One of the most widely accepted explanations is something called Fata Morgana, a specific type of mirage caused by extreme temperature differences in the air. In environments like the Australian outback, layers of hot and cold air can bend light, allowing objects that are actually far beyond the horizon to appear visible.
Lights that shouldn't be seen suddenly are. Campfires, distant buildings, even headlights from cars miles away.
And because the air itself is unstable, those lights don't appear normal. They distort, they shift, they move.
And sometimes they even seem to follow. It's a convincing explanation, but not a complete one.
Another theory suggests the lights could be biological, possibly insects, or even birds, producing light through a process known as bioluminescence.
In some cases, it's been suggested that environmental factors like fungi could trigger that kind of glow.
But so far, there's no confirmed evidence of any species in the area producing light bright enough or consistent enough to match the reports.
Other explanations point to the land itself. Natural gases, electrical charges in the earth, even pressure within certain types of rock producing light under specific conditions.
But again, those conditions don't exist in every area where the light's been reported, which raises a problem.
Because every explanation, no matter how convincing, only explains part of it.
The movement, the brightness, the location.
Something always doesn't quite fit.
And then there are the reports that don't match any explanation at all.
Lights that change direction against the wind. Lights that approach people, then stop. And lights that disappear instantly, only to reappear somewhere else.
And perhaps the most unsettling detail, the way they seem to respond.
Not like something being carried by nature, but like something aware.
If something can't fully be explained by science, but continues to be seen again and again, at what point does it stop being coincidence?
Well, it's not a coincidence. I mean, I don't know. Why else do... I don't know. It's weird.
I think the multiple reports over generations,
Yeah.
you know, similar matching stories before we had this type of technology, so...
Well, it kind of reminds me of, like, all the different haunted forests, because they see they see orbs, too. Or lights.
Yeah, and that's other ones that generations and generations of stories passed down, and it's hard to be like, oh, it was this or this, or that stuff didn't exist then.
Right.
The stuff you want to blame it on wasn't around yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I'd like to see them, just to see them. But.
It is, like, at what point does it become... It's not a coincidence after a lot of people have seen it, like...
Right.
It's like, oh, you seen it? Me too. That's a coincidence. Not when multiple people have seen the same thing.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'd like to see it. For many people, the first encounter doesn't feel threatening. It's just a light, far off in the distance. Something you notice, but don't think too much about, until it moves.
One of the most common experiences comes from drivers traveling through the remote stretch of the outback at night. Long roads, no traffic, no distractions. Just you and the dark.
At first, the light appears behind them, distant, easy to ignore. But then, it starts getting closer.
Not fast, not aggressive, just enough to stay visible.
So they speed up, and it follows.
Matching their pace.
No headlights, no sound, just a single light holding its position.
And the light, which was a white glowing light, which was kind of hovering above the trees, was getting closer, and we all agreed at the same time there should be some kind of noise. And we thought, gee, that grew shoot is getting a little bit close for comfort. And then finally someone said, maybe it's the Min Min light.
And that's the moment when something shifts, because it stops feeling like coincidence.
And starts feeling intentional.
There are no other cars, no roads it could be coming from, no explanation for how it's still there.
Some people try to test it. They slow down.
And the light slows too.
They stop completely.
And sometimes it does the same.
Just sitting there.
Others try to get closer. They turn the car and they follow it. But no matter how far they go, the distance never changes. It stays just ahead of them, always visible and never reachable.
Like it's leading them, without ever letting them catch up.
And in some versions of the story, people who follow the lights too far never come back.
There's no confirmed evidence that this actually happened, but the idea has remained part of the folklore.
Yeah, because if they follow them, they probably go to...
Disappear.
Probably, I don't know why I think it's aliens. They probably just take them.
Just has a very similar feeling.
For our listeners in Australia, please let us know if you have seen these lights. I'm curious. But what many witnesses agree on isn't just what they saw, it's what they felt.
The sense of being watched, of not being alone, even in complete isolation, of something keeping its distance, but never leaving.
And the moment it disappears isn't relief, it's the feeling that it chose to.
If something behaves like that, it's not random and not predictable. It's like, would you try to follow it?
Yes. I'd be curious.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, like, where does it go?
What do you guys think? Would you try to follow these lights? Because apparently they disappear when you try to follow them, and they keep up with you or they retract, so it's all based on whatever you try to do, but...
I mean, if I seen a random-ass orb of light, I would get in the dark outback.
Well, that's the thing, you guys in the outback, if you're out there testing this theory, let us know. But it says it changes color, so there's no way it's just like...
Yeah, that's true.
It's gotta be something that's...
Something's controlling it.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
It has to have some kind of mind. If it's not its own, then it's being controlled.
Yeah. I should message Taylor because she lives in Australia.
Yeah, be like, hey, I need you to drive this road.
Have you heard of these lights?
If any of you have known or seen the Min Min lights, let us know what you've seen or what your theory is on them.
Yes, it's interesting.
Very curious.
Very. I'd like to see them. But then apparently you disappear, so.
Well, if you see them, you don't disappear. It's if you catch them.
Oh, well. Yeah, because if you catch them, it's like, aha.
If I see them in the mirror, I'm like, all right, drive faster.
Yeah. After everything, the sightings, the stories, and the attempts to explain it, we're still left with the same question. What are these Min Min lights?
Science offers explanations. Mirages, atmospheric distortion, light bending across the horizon.
And in some cases, those explanations make sense. They can't account for distance, movement, and distortion.
But not all of it.
Because there's always something left over. Something that doesn't quite fit.
The way the lights move. The way they respond. The way people describe the same experience. Even when they've never heard of the story before.
And maybe that's where the discomfort comes from. Not just what we don't understand, but what we might not be meant to. Because not every phenomenon fits into something we can measure, and not every experience can be explained away.
A light in the distance, appearing when nothing else is there. Following, but never getting closer. Staying just far enough away that you can't prove what it is.
And maybe that's the point. Not to be seen, but to be noticed.
If you saw something like that, something you couldn't explain, would you try to understand it or just keep driving?
Again, I would be too curious. I would slow down and be like, what is that thing? Because doesn't it stop too? It goes by with your speed?
At the point when it starts changing color, you're like, does it need something from me? Like, it seems like an emergency signal when you're changing from white to yellow to green to blue to, like...
I'd be asking, am I high?
Yeah, you guys okay over there?
Right. Yeah, but it's interesting.
I do like the theory of the phenomenon that happens that bends the lights, but...
Yeah.
Making lights from miles away appear right behind you, that's a...
I mean, because you gotta think what the aurora lights and stuff, but those...
This is a whole difference. This is like a type of mirage.
Yeah.
That reflects lights that could be 100 miles away.
Yeah.
Like right up to your point.
That's so strange. It's
yeah,
crazy.
So it's like...
Interesting.
What point in Australia do I have to be to see something like that to know?
Yeah.
Coming to Australia.
I know, I want to go there anyway. And that concludes this episode of Veil of Echoes.
If you enjoyed tonight's episode, make sure you're following Veil of Echoes on your favorite podcast platform.
And you can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook for teaser clips, tarot-style posts, and behind-the-scenes content.
This Monday, we step into a case that's very real.
A man who lived a quiet life on the surface, but was hiding something much darker just beneath it.
Disappearances.
A property with a secret.
And a truth that wouldn't stay buried.
And inside his home, mannequins.
Dressed.
Positioned like they were watching. Herb Baumeister.
And what was discovered on his property.
Until next time, keep your ears open.
And the veil closed.